Hey, what's up guys, it's Mote Plox, and I'm sorry that I haven't been doing any videos for the past week. The reason for that is I've been on vacation with my friend Corin, who came down to visit me all the way from Missouri. He and I have known each other in the game for quite some time now, so we figured we'd meet up and just hang out as friends in real life, and it was a fun time, but I just wanted to cover that and tell you guys that that's where I've been. Another reason why you guys are actually seeing me in the real world right now before this video, I wanted to tell everybody that this video does not reflect my views on Jagex as a company, and it doesn't reflect my views or opinions about the updates that I'm going to be speaking about, because, I mean, you guys can obviously see the title of this video is the top 10 worst RuneScape updates in history, so obviously that's going to spark up a lot of debates in the comment section. There's going to be fights, people are going to probably start flash mobs, and it's not going to be... It's probably, the comments are going to be the worst part about this video. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, yes, I am 100% confirmed a ginger by this new webcam that I'm using right now. And also, if you guys want to get one of these really cool RuneScape shirts, I'll leave a link down in the description to Jagex's merch store, where you can find it there if you guys didn't know about their store that they have. So I'll leave that in the description. You guys go check it out for yourself. Just, once again, don't hate me too much because of this video. I actually like some of the updates that I'm going to be talking about in here. I'm not going to tell you which ones for the sake of arguing, but yeah, don't hate me. I hope you guys enjoy. Number 10, Runespan. Released into the game on April 30th of the year 2012, this safe minigame was seen by the majority of the RuneScape community as the downfall to the runecrafting skill when it came to feeling a sense of achievement for those players that actually accomplished 99 runecrafting the hard way before Runespan ever came along. Using the Abyss, banking, the slow XP, and practically always having to watch the screen to train this skill became a thing of the past. Runecrafting in RuneScape 3 is now very AFK compared to what it was years ago, and the goal set by many of achieving level 91 runecrafting for double nature runes to be able to utilize one of the best money-making methods in the game no longer took months but instead weeks to actually accomplish, and many players felt cheated who had invested numerous hours into such a goal via the old method of training the skill. Number 9, Summoning. Released into the game on the 15th of January in the year 2008, this new skill caused a lot of separation and controversy in the community during the time it arrived. In the previous year of 2007, there were a lot of updates that were released that a lot of players despised, and some say that this skill, upon its release, saved the game from losing most of its player base. Others feel that it was the last straw due to the combat level changes that came with this skill, changing the max combat level from 126 to 138. Other players simply just didn't care and chose never to attempt to train it. The summoning skill can be quite useful when it comes to combat and certain methods of skilling for more efficiency, but a lot of players never had the patience for it when it came to hunting down the charms to continue to actually train the skill. It also wasn't long after the summoning skill was out that the Zezma era this year had finally come to an end. Zezma was no longer the leader of the high scores and didn't achieve 99 summoning until almost 3 years later on the date of December 25th, 2010. Number 8, the RuneScape 3 skill cape changes. On March 16th, 2015, just a few months ago, all of the capes of accomplishment received a graphical update as well as the option to attaching a hood to them as well. The quest point cape wasn't updated together with the other skill capes, but was eventually graphically changed as well on the 8th of June this year too. The main differences in the graphical update was the skill icon being updated and frontal tassets and shoulder pads being removed, making the new capes seem in appearance more similarly to just an ordinary cape instead of something to be recognized by players as a symbol of their achievements. There were so many complaints that on the 7th of April, an update added the ability to toggle between the old and new skill cape designs, which can be done by talking to any of the masters. Number 7, multiplied damage and multiplied hit points. This update was added on March 3rd, 2010, and a lot of people were pretty half on half about this one. Some people liked the idea of hitting an 80 instead of an 8, and other people just simply couldn't get used to it. Hit points were officially changed to life points, and the name of the actual skill overall was now called Constitution. The hit splats received an upgrade, making it to where when you hit a 0, it looked like a blue shield labeled with the number 0 inside of it, and when you actually dealt damage, it still appeared to be a splat. The numbers were slightly larger than before, and the hit point bar itself got a makeover as well. It was such a small update to the game, but it brought loads of riots, and a lot of people quit because of it. Most players saw it as a bit of a pointless update with no real reasoning behind it, and the players that actually did like the update felt that there was no reason to quit RuneScape just because Jagex added zeros to everything. But nevertheless, there is no denying the fact that many people in the community felt that PKing and a lot of other combat-related aspects of the game were completely ruined because of this. Number 6, Bounty Hunter. This player-killing minigame known as BH was released into the game on December 10th, 2007. It has been modified and revamped numerous times since it was released, and the reasoning? A lot of people disliked it. The aftermath of the Bounty Hunter update was the result of a number of changes made to RuneScape by Jagex. These changes that led to BH included the trade limit, the removal of the wilderness, the newly free-to-play duel arena, and the ongoing fight between RuneScape and real-world trading as a whole. If you died in Bounty Hunter, you would lose all of your items unless you were using the Protect Item prayer, but if you had a pickup penalty, you couldn't even use the prayer anyway. You received a pickup penalty whenever you killed someone who wasn't your target. And if you did try to pick up any items while having the penalty, you'd then receive what was called a leave penalty, where on top of not being able to use Protect Item, you would also not be able to leave the crater or even log out until the penalty expired, or until you actually did kill your designated target. Because of this update and the recent ones prior to BH, riots immediately began to happen all across RuneScape. Players began chanting phrases such as "Jagex ruined RuneScape," "RuneScape," "We pay to actually PK," and loads of others. Worlds became full with players congregating in the cities of Varrock, Falador, Edgeville, and eventually Jagex moderators had to step in and control the riots, but nobody went quietly and many players received punishment because of that. Number 5, changing the name Axe to Hatchet. Seriously, Jagex, we pay, we say. Number 5, the Solomon's General Store. Released on the 17th of July in 2012, this microtransaction store is ran by a genie known as Solomon Madini. The store basically sells a variety of unique personalizations and items that is applied to the player avatar in the form of a cosmetic override or otherwise enhances gameplay in many different ways. During the next year, on September 3rd of 2013, the store was merged with the members' loyalty program, allowing certain items from both stores to be purchased with each other's currency. The store itself caused a great deal of controversy at launch, as the items are only obtained by using real-world money. Many players voiced their concerns over further microtransactions following the installment of the Squeak of Fortune in the earlier year. The store only offers purely cosmetic merchandise, unlike the Squeak of Fortune. However, there were a lot of players who were angry simply because they had been around in the previous years in the past when RuneScape received all sorts of bad updates, with the reasoning behind them being to combat against real-world trading, which in some players' opinions was exactly what the Solomon's General Store is today. Don't get me wrong, many players absolutely love the Solomon General Store today, but that might just be because everyone else who disliked it has long quit since its release a few years ago. Number 4, the Squeak of Fortune. Known as SOF, this daily activity was introduced into the game on the 28th of February in 2012. The idea of the game was pretty simple. Free players received 1 spin a day and members received 2. If a free player received a member's item from the wheel, then they would have to pay for membership to actually be able to claim it. The rewards included armor, weapons, XP lamps, coins, and all different kinds of equipment. The most sought prize, however, was the cash prize of 200, sometimes 500 million coins. Spins could be bought with real-life money, and you had to choose 10, 20, 40, 100, or 200 spins all at once for a purchase. You'd receive a bonus of 5 spins for buying 20, a bonus of 35 spins for buying 40, a bonus of 100 spins for buying 100 spins, and a bonus of 250 spins for buying 200 spins. A maximum of $200 can be spent a day when buying spins, and bought spins would expire after not being used for 6 months. And there was also a second cap of $500 $200 US a week, so even if you did spend $200 every single day, you wouldn't be able to actually spend $1,400 each week. The problem with the Squeak of Fortune back then, and even now, is that there's still loads of controversy over it due to some players believing that it's nothing more than a form of real-world trading. However, Jagex's official stance on the rule is that real-world trading is only an offense when it involves a third party. However, many of the items from the SOF either have significant gold or XP value, so you'll have to decide for yourself on the matter. Number 3, the infamous trade limit released during December in 2007, along with the removal of the wilderness. Another form, Jagex says, of combating real-world trading was this mechanism in the trade system that prevented players from making trades that were considered to be too unbalanced. It is to be recognized, however, though, that during this time, the trade limit significantly discouraged and mostly eliminated hackers that tried to steal players' accounts regularly. Your limit was actually based off of your quest points. If you had 0 to 10 QP and someone wasn't your friend, you could only offer 5k less or more than their offer, or 20,000 coins if they had been your friend for 3 months. If you had 270 plus quest points and someone wasn't your friend, you could only pay 60k less or more of their offer, and if they had been your friend again for 3 months, you could offer 240k higher or lower than their offer to you. In short, gift giving became a thing of the past, and merchanting was practically impossible unless you basically had a maxed account, but even then, you couldn't profit more than 240k even if you were maxed. This update for many is what caused a lot of people to quit the game back then, and most of them never returned, not even after the trade limit was finally removed 3 years later. Number 2, the removal of the wilderness. On the 10th of December in 2007, Jagex completely ended player killing as everybody knew it, and released Clan Wars along with Bounty Hunter as partial replacements. The pre-2007 style PKing was never seen again in RuneScape until 4 years later on the 1st of February in 2011. What made Jagex decide to finally bring back the old style of PKing was the wilderness and free trade voting polls that were created in order to see if players still cared about the wilderness, and almost every player did. The final results of the poll were that 2% of the players didn't care, 7% of the players voted no, and 91% voted yes to bring back the wilderness and the removal of the trade limits. Within the first 24 hours of the actual petition to begin the poll itself, Jagex says that over 1.2 million people voted, and by the time the petition closed, there were well over 1.7 million votes. The unfortunate thing about the players voting to bring back the old style of PKing was that even though the old style was back, there was all sorts of new updates like graphical changes, interface options, new weapons, new armors, different requirements, new skills, and so much more that contributed to the way PKing would now be done. Some players felt that having to relearn the entire game wasn't really worth it, and after the wilderness and free trade had been brought back, it still didn't increase the amount of players playing every day much. The first update to remove the wilderness back in 2007 will always be one of the most controversial updates of all time throughout the game's history, and it will always be to some players the day that RuneScape officially died. Number 1, the evolution of combat. Released into the game on the 20th of November in 2012, this update was perhaps the largest, controversial, and community-splitting update the game has ever seen that still causes brutal and verbal arguments between players still to this day. RuneScape's combat system was completely reworked, and the evolution brought a variety of new content including powerful abilities, dual-wielding weapons, and new magic and ranged equipment, and new prayers. In addition, the combat triangle has been massively rebalanced. Monsters have new attacks, and the combat level formula has been completely revised, having players going from being a maxed 138 combat level to a shocking level 200. The formula was later reverted, however, to a modified version of the original. Jagex released EOC for many reasons, some of which were to balance out the combat triangle due to melee being much more powerful in most cases when being compared to ranged and magic, to make the combat system more interactive and exciting for everyone, to refocus combat to be more about player skill, and to encourage a variety in new combat equipment. Many players, however, protested against this because due to the revolutionary change it would make, fearing it would make the game lose its culture and tradition. Riots occurred, people quit, and the game became completely unrecognizable to some. Some people actually liked the update, and some people actually played both, but player counts did decrease more than they rose, and 3 years later, the decision of this update unfortunately still divides the community in ways I've never seen on any online multiplayer game in my life. Thanks for watching, guys. I tried my best to report the facts only, but there was some cases where I just couldn't. Once again, this video doesn't reflect my views on Jagex as a company, and I'm not saying which updates I liked or disliked for the sake of argument on the channel, but people have been wanting me to do this video for quite some time, and I figured it was finally time to tackle it. If you guys enjoyed this video or completely hated it, then definitely let me know by either liking or disliking it, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day or night, everybody, wherever you're at in the world.